हाय, मेरा नाम है अदिति एंड आप सुन रहे हो काइपन अदिति. दिस इज January Unhinged, a month where I will be uploading new episode every single day at 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time. I do hope you tune in. I do hope you take away something. आज का episode is actually I struggle with this because I've seen people do this to themselves, and it is where I get frustrated and angry. Okay, so I often think about having stronger boundary, what having stronger boundary means, and the advantages of it all. I don't know how, but I've always been exceptionally good at setting boundaries. I sometimes think maybe because शायद मैं empath हूँ, इसीलिए कि मुझे पसंद नहीं है टू लीड पीपल ऑन इन टू थिंकिंग कि भाई हाँ, अगर मैं बात करूँगी तो इसका मतलब ये और यही हो जाएगा. आई डोंट वॉन्ट टू हर्ट एनी बडी, लाइक दैट्स जस्ट इंटेंशनली. आई never want to hurt anybody. I do not like to drag out conversations and give anybody false hope that maybe something might happen, relationship wise, friendship wise, situationship wise, anything. A recent conversation with my friend on this had me exposed to the other side of the coin. But Aditi, are you coming out too strong that maybe you're also blocking out the good shit as well? That got me spiraling because I've been keeping my boundaries up and high and so strong and for so long that maybe, just maybe, she said I'm keeping out the good as well. And that was like, oh god, oh, did I never thought about it. So I honestly, even don't want to entertain this thought. Here's what I think. I have this faith कि what is meant for you will never pass you by, and I'm learning to be more open to receiving and having to let go of so much control over the narrative. जो आ रहा है आने दो, accept it. आप जैसे ही नहीं बोलोगे वैसे जो आने वाला भी होगा वो नहीं आएगा. Here is what setting boundaries look like, and it is very healthy to have them. Throughout my college years, I've sort of been a loner because maybe I come across as bitch. ऐसा है कि I have a resting bitch face. Not gonna lie, but this is, until you actually come and say hi to me, I will have this resting bitch face. I've always lived in my bubble, and I've hold on to the people who've come inside my bubble and like said hi to me, and like now they know that okay, this is all a facade. And they are still my friends to this date. So number one, I clearly communicated what I loved and liked about them. Be more interested than than interesting to build a good network. This is, I guess, lesson 101 from this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Yeah, बहुत popular book है if you want to check it out. Number two, I do not like to drag out conversations or leave any room for the maybes. Okay, so there was this guy I was briefly talking with. He came across, during first one or two conversations, he came across as a bit naive and then suddenly a lot desperate. I told myself, Aditi यार बहुत जल्दी तू डिसीजन ले रही है, मे बी शायद और थोड़ा टाइम दे. So I was like, ठीक है, let's chat for a bit more. So I chatted with him. We had like 3 or 4 solid conversations before I made my mind. And post all of that, the entire conversation, I made the decision that it wasn't the right fit, wasn't what I was looking for. And so he said, Aditi, why don't we just be friends? Now, if I had allowed this guy to be friend, then it would mean कि I'm giving this guy a sort of a yellow flag that there is room for growth and that he will start hoping that this friendship will soon turn into a relationship. But in reality it won't be more than a situationship, which I do not want. So अगर मैं उंगली दे रही हूँ गला पकड़ लेगा type, like he did not get a no means a no, a firm no means a no. And that just was the end of it all. Like when he said that, I was like, no. And he was like, can we? Maybe. Yeah. Number 3, having a strong boundary does not limit your joy, but it actually protects your joy. There is a lot of times where I know I cannot do this shit. For example, going to this party because So this was an office party because that's just not my scene. I know I can't tolerate it. I rather head to the library or museum or avoid all of it. The headache, the constipation post that day I might end up with, you know. Sure, time and time I do say yes to a party, but it's just not my cup of tea. And I have my strong boundaries around this and alcohol and the food I consume and who I take it with. And it's just, I think a lot stems from having trust issues and having seen so many movies where these people slip in pills in your cocktail and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what, I rather have my water, I rather have a nice pizza at home, and I'll call it a day. So I have boundaries where it needs, where I do need, where I feel safe, and that's it. Number 4, I say no often, and I think a lot of people struggle with this, honestly. It might feel like we owe other people an explanation of why we do what we do, but trust me, you do not need to explain a no. You do not need to do that. No means no. Setting boundaries has helped me avoid a lot of anxiety. For example, I need to know the location and the route in advance so that I can do my research, prep myself mentally and emotionally for this place. I feel valued and safe if you tell me this in advance. Like, I feel respected that you respect me enough to tell me. And I do sometimes feel like I have social anxiety about this. So having strong boundary around this is important for my mental health in general. Yeah. Now, this is what not having boundaries look like. Letting a guy walk all over you, letting him decide what to wear, who you talk to. You allow them to hurt you emotionally by not having a stronger boundary and speaking up. Dragging out friendships. You know this friend is toxic AF. He, she, they, them talk behind your back, and yet you still choose to hang out with them because you don't want to hurt their feelings by simply saying no. Did they think about your feelings when they pitched about you behind your back, when they talked about you behind your back to 5 other people? Number 3, not having boundaries literally mean walking on eggshells. Constant guilt, anxiety, people pleasing, log kya kahenge. Just have that wall up. Number 4, they make you doubt your own self-worth. You become more passive aggressive. Maybe even you might end up going through this identity crisis. This is where you do need to have stronger boundaries. Imagine आप हर चीज़ के लिए डाउट कर रहे हो खुद को, आपको पता है ये करने से ये होगा, बट दे हैव गैस लाइटेड यू इनटू थिंकिंग कि ऐसा ज़रूरी नहीं है कि ये होगा, ऐसा भी होएगा और वैसा भी होएगा और ऐसा भी होएगा. बट यू नो एंड यू नो योर बॉडी कि आप ये एक्सरसाइज करोगे तो ऐसा ही होगा. Have strong boundaries. I had a friend, she used to go to the gym, she used to train with a certain trainer, and for some reason even I reached out to this trainer because she recommended him to me. And like, I had 2 conversations with this guy and I told her कि ये बंदा ठीक नहीं लग रहा है. And then a week ago she reached out to me saying कि I left I stopped training with this guy, and then this guy approached her and this guy told her कि अरे आपका मैम ये फिजिक अच्छा नहीं दिख रहा है, आप पतले हो गए हो, आप ऐसा दिख रहे हो, वैसे दिख रहे हो. Just because she stopped training with him, he started sort of gaslighting her into saying कि मैं ही बेस्ट हूँ, आप मेरे साथ ही करोगे ट्रेनिंग. And this is where, you know, she could have held up her boundaries high and she should have like responded. Or there was another instance where my friend, I told my best friend that, hey, this girl is a bad news. You should just dump her. Don't entertain her thoughts, feelings, whatever. It's like the minute you decide they are entering your field with their negativity, and it just fucks up your mentality, fucks up your mindset, your anxiety goes worse. And so it's I understand it's hard to have boundaries around, especially around those people who've been with you for forever, but you know it's a lost cause. You know your friendship ka expiry date aa gaya. You know you need to let them go. Having strong boundaries is very important. Our life is very short. In a blip of a minute we will end up losing 10 years of our life, and those 10 years are pretty important in a bigger picture. Yeah, like just think about it. This all happens if you don't have boundaries, okay? Think about it. That's it for today. I don't want to overcomplicate this. Have healthy boundaries. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.